Crouch. Bind. Set.
Joe presents the House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to House of Rugby. Brought to you by Joe, together with our very good friends at Guinness. The band is back together. Sort of like putting on an old pair of cords, this, isn't it?
I don't own any cords.
Yeah, I was going to say
An old pair of rusty brown cords.
No, old pair of red trousers, your
chinos.
You are
Red
definitely
chinos.
the John Deacon out of Queen, aren't you?
Yeah. I think I possibly am. Hoff and Lord are here. Have you recovered from the love-in with Sean O'Brien last week?
Yes, I have.
I saw him on Saturday at Twickers talking a very big game pre-match, slightly quieter post-match. But he said you texted him about 64 times since the show, having not been in touch in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was very good. He was very amusing.
He was. I listened to the show. He was very good because he also ultimately kept Hask very quiet.
Yeah.
So it was nice to hear.
I decided
A very jolly Irishman.
Chloe reckons he's the most Irish Irishman ever. Like the way I give him a tump. You're like, what? I was making a car roll.
I loved how quickly he snapped when you said that. And I've gone for England by 74.
He literally he puffed up.
No, but it went past him with 74, and he was like, "What?" The tin said won by 74. It's like, simmer down, sir. But it was some of the words: the car road, pop the trunk, get in the van.
So that's a bromance. We've got another one of your less of a bromance, more of a crush in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, Rory Best.
He was having a good time on Saturday.
What a hero of a man! I absolutely love Rory Best. There's like nothing I don't love about him. He's got himself into CrossFit now.
Does he?
He reckons he's like in real good nick. Every time we had a team photo or a photo with a guest, he'd be holding my hand in the background, touching my arse. Yeah. Every time they wanted a selfie, he'd be walking in front of them. He was just so funny. I love him so much.
Two Irish people we love. How much love have you got for Ireland right now? Do you want to get this out of the way, or should we go into detail on it?
Look, I'm not
proven right again, Lord.
Well, I'm just not going to say I'm the oracle to Irish rugby, but yeah, I mean, look, they were poor on the weekend by their standards. I haven't seen in the first half them make that many errors in their own half. My biggest thing would be: when is it time to? Like Conor Murray at the moment is in a funk. He's not a bad player. Obviously, you don't turn into a bad player.
He's a great player.
He's a great player, but he's not. He's in a funk at the moment. Nothing's going right. He's not kicking like he can do. Which Ireland build their game off. And when you've got Cooney come on, and even the fly half, was it Ross Byrne who came on, and the difference in the tempo and the pace of the game and variety in terms of actually using the space a bit more. They actually looked a lot more dangerous in that at the end of that second half. They still need to get their forwards to tip the ball occasionally because you can't win collisions when the one-out runner's running into that England defence that was coming up as fast as it was. Marrow, Courtney, who was outstanding. Undernorse was just destroying people as well. And my issue is they never change during a game. When they're getting nowhere, they don't ever do anything different, and that's the worry for them, and that's what I hoped at the start of the tournament, because I do think they have great players. I thought that with the changing coaching staff, you might see a little bit more adventure, a little bit more shape off just set pieces, but you don't really see anything.
Italy up next. I wonder if they might try change a few things.
Well, they have to give Cooney a game. They have to give him a start. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you drop your captain, even though I'm not sure Sexton's playing that well at the moment, but you can't drop your captain, and hopefully if Cooney comes in, you might see a different Johnny Sexton. You might see him get his vavavoom back, but also you take the pressure off Conor Murray and let him come onto the bench where hopefully against Italy there'll be points up, he'll be able to just have a bit more freedom, and you might find his rhythm again.
Okay, we got straight into the rugby. We haven't done that for a while.
That was a bit odd. I was going to ask something just quickly, because when we were talking about the bullying stuff on social media, obviously when we're in our eternal WhatsApp group, and so I look at like the YouTube comments, everything else like that, and I looked at some of the YouTube comments, and obviously people are like, Tindall, what game does he watch, everything else. But you're consistently right, which I find so funny, is because obviously the day you make a mistake, the fact you've been right any number of times is going to be completely glossed over, and you're going to still get hammered. But I do enjoy it. I just sat back and I went, because I know what people think is you got a vendetta. You're just giving a level-headed opinion, and you're actually being honest. But fans of people of teams that have been criticised they see it as a personal affront.
Yeah.
But it's not. You love Irish. You got Irish mates. You got loads of people.
Yeah.
You love all these teams. But I just think it is very funny that he keeps getting it right.
The other thing that he keeps saying is, has Tindall actually watched any of the rugby? You are the only one that does watch this.
Yeah.
Literally, you are here half an hour before we do this. Actually, watch it.
Yeah, he was watching the game again just before we came on air. He's glued to his iPad, mainly halfway through the show because when I'm talking, he's on his phone watching things.
Well, slightly different.
Yeah. Slightly.
Okay, let's come back to the rugby. Did either of you watch Fury Wilder?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my god!
I was in Dublin twice last week, and I was.
Did you go on Thursday? Come back and go on Saturday?
Yes, I had to because I had. So basically, I flew out Friday, did the show called the Line Out on Virgin, which was actually quite good
I
fun.
watched a bit of it. You retweeted it.
Yeah, and then I basically came back, trained Friday.
You tipped Ireland. I mean, you just.
No, because you're in Ireland.
Yeah, I know you're in Ireland.
I
but
said where
have
my
some
heart.
credibility.
No, I don't have any. I'm like Clive Woodward. I'm a bigger pair of flip flops than Clive Woodward. Which, by the way, I know we're going to come on to the rugby we talk about. I've got the utmost respect for a World Cup winning coach and everything else like that, and I like him as a bloke. He's obviously had mixed opinions at me, like most people. But you can't write what you're writing and then just not acknowledge the fact that I've gone in real hard, I've criticised everyone, I've blown the doors off England a toilet, and then go at the next end of the game going, yeah, well, I thought they were brilliant today. They've really saved their best.
Calling it as you see it.
No,
at the moment.
no, because
you should then just go, well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
I think he said that in his mail column.
No, the headline said that eventually, but it's happened so many times. It's like, get some consistency. You can't keep saying, Eddie's done this, Eddie's the wrong decision, I'd do this. If I was in charge, you're not in charge, you're not doing this. Have some consistency. Just come out and say, listen, I'm going to be pretty negative about everything, and then I'm going to change my mind. But you've got to have some consistency.
But in all fairness, I was, before the game, even though I picked England by 7, as the game got closer, with the changes that were in the team, I wasn't sure, unless England had a brilliant first 20 minutes, that I thought Ireland could get under their skin. And if Ireland suddenly went 3-6-9, we would struggle. But we came out and we found that intensity.
But I think it's the gravity of the language used. It's not. Yeah. There is no problem. Like, if you ask me, I said England by 5, right? Yeah. But what I get concerned with the rugby media in particular, and there are other journalists from other papers which I was reading saying, if England were to lose, is Eddie Jones a villain? Is Eddie this? Eddie's that? He's under pressure. and we've lost one game since a World Cup final.
Well, it was they lost the only game since the World Cup.
Well, fine. But our point is that we've got a team all the way to the World Cup final. All the players are very comfortable. Everybody loves it. Why is anybody calling for anyone's head? Who would you put in charge? There's no consistency. It is just literally writing things so people go, opinion pieces, and go, well, actually, I think they're brilliant. You're like, no. You slagged them, you slated them, said it was under pressure, wheels are falling off, terrible decisions, bad use of language, and then you suddenly rewind it. Either stick with your guns or be more level-headed and go, do you know what? Actually, I can't call it this week. I think this has happened.
Or just go, I disagree with such. I don't really think that's the best. I would prefer to see a winger on the wing or a...
Show me anything in the modern world right now where reason to debate is winning the day.
No, but that's what we've got to strive for, reason debate. You have to. You've got to be made accountable.
Yeah. No one's listening to reason debate. Either you shout loudly from the right or you shout loudly from the left.
Yeah, but I
no in between.
I try to sit in the middle, yeah. I just think...
Yeah, but no one's listening to you.
No, this is true. That's very true. I think you just need consistency of language, or just to be a bit more contrived and go, do you know what? I'm going to say these extreme things, but then I'm going to backtrack. Massively.
Well, you have to admit when you're wrong.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of these people do. Like, they just gloss over it, because if I was a player and I come out and say something, so you say something about Ireland, right? Everybody slams you, you're made accountable. If you're a journalist or one of these pundits, you say what you want week in, week out, and nobody really knocks on your door and goes, excuse me, Sir Clive, or excuse me, Nick Simon, excuse me, these people. You've written all this stuff slagging everybody, and now this week you've said that they're the best thing since sliced bread. Methinks you might need some consistency. What do you think? But nobody does that. We just keep buying the papers. So that's what we need to strive for, I think.
We're doing too much moaning on this show. We moaned about social media, now we're moaning about media.
No, we're not.
Yes, we have.
Listen, we've got a platform we've had 10 million viewers and listeners. If we can't use this podcast for good, it's just 3 idiots sitting around the table shouting bollocks, drinking Guinness. We need to do a bit of something.
Guinness
clear. Well, I don't know why you families aren't drinking. If I hadn't, you're not paying for a fight.
Hey, one in all in. Till the 16th.
The Brotherhood.
Till the 16th of May.
16th of May. You're going to the SSE Arena. I thought you'd be like in some sort of
White collar boxing down the local.
I was expecting like a literally a proper sort of
sport,
like community sports centre.
Yeah, YMCA.
Yeah, this is the point.
This is Wembley SSE.
Yeah, I went in professional, didn't I? I'm not doing like one of them gala nights in a canopy. And
How many people are going to come and watch?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's looking good again with the spinning back fist and then a knee to the head with the black eye.
Yeah, I went on.
Training's going well.
I was on Saturday night in Ireland again, so basically went back and I trained Saturday when we had massive sparring, and I, with this middleweight kind of slash light heavyweight, who was quite badass, and I spinning back fist, and I took him down. I caught a knee at the time. Then I went on to do the Bellator show, so I flew to Dublin.
Yeah,
and basically, if it wasn't for my lovely wife, I was literally lying in bed, going, I can't go, I can't move. I'm in so much pain. She goes, I look after you, babe, look after you. Got me to the airport, got to the event, started to feel better, and they were like, do you need to cover these up? And all the producers were like, no, don't cover it up. So basically I was on, we need to see that he's actually doing it. And the guy who booked me was like, wow, sparring today. I was like, yes, you've signed me up to be a professional fighter. I'm in 5 days a week. There's nothing else to my life apart from this fighting thing. This is what I'm doing.
Can I just say, can anybody who is going to the SSE get there early? Because I'm not sure it's going to last long.
Very true.
Do you know what you're fighting? No. Yeah, do you know?
Not yet. I've got nothing.
He's currently working on his spinning back fist.
No, avoiding the spinning back fist.
How will they sort of measure you? Will it be weight? How do they measure you up?
So I'm a heavyweight.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, they've got to put someone on my level. There's no point putting me with, Bader or Czech Congo because I just get killed.
Heavyweight? Anything over 225?
Yeah, I mean, the maximum's 120 kgs.
215.
265, and then, so I'm at 118 at the moment.
Flipping heck.
So...
you did some quite good media, actually. I watched your Diary of a Fighter on YouTube.
Oh, did you like that?
Yeah, like that. It was good.
Shout out to Jack Goodman. Actually, we
met Jack last week.
Yeah, he did. He came to behind the scenes. Got a little videographer.
You said... Such big time. You said to Donald McRae in The Guardian that you've got a fear of getting exposed. Is that literally shorts pulled down, or is that like knocked out and...
I just think you put yourself in that... Look, first thing first, I'm always going to get criticised for everything you do, anything you do. Everyone does. What's that great quote about people who, critics are people who watch the battle
Theodore
from afar.
Roosevelt, yeah,
watch
the man in the arena.
afar and then shoot the survivors. I'm going to get heat either way. I win, whatever, I lose, whatever. I just think for me it's the challenge of doing it. So I said, you just want to go in there and make a good account of yourself. You don't want to look like these other people have gone in fights like they've never had a punch before, never
Well,
dealt
the
with
thing
anything.
is, you're going to go in there, whatever you do, and if you won easy, then you're going to get...
Yeah.
You're going to get, well, he was tailor-made for him or something.
It's a journey for me. It's a journey.
Can we come up with an excuse if you lose that is better than Deontay Wilder's?
Yes.
My ring walk costume was too heavy.
Yes, I will basically...
Please send in your suggestions
Yes,
for what Hask has to say.
Yeah.
Which you won't. You lose.
Like a frog stole my trousers or something like that. Or, I ate too many meringues.
Have you ever heard anything like...
No.
What is he doing?
Well, don't know. Why don't you just say...
Yeah, but to be fair...
Post-fight, he was like, better man, well done. And now he said, got a hurty knee and my costume's too heavy and I didn't like the lighting.
But
and
they're
he didn't
different
hurt
breed,
me.
though. They're a different breed, though. Yeah. That's the thing, and it's just pride and male ego. It's the reason the world's in the position it's in. And
he can do whatever he wants because he's got a clause in the contract for a third fight. So do you
think he'll take it?
Of course he will.
I don't think we should. I just think we should see Joshua
That's
Fury.
What everyone wants.
That's what everyone wants. The problem is they'll do it. They'll do it in Saudi Arabia. I bet you. It should be Wembley. It should be Wembley. Proper one.
Be.
Filled to the brim.
You cannot take Joshua Fury
for 400 mil. They would. You'll never get anywhere near. I mean, they were selling like if I said you $2,000 tickets for Wembley ringside, you might have a little go. You'll never get. It goes to Saudi.
Saudi already said they'll double whatever anyone else offers. So.
Yeah, it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, I reckon.
Sad, but it's the fact.
Would you fight
them out of X?
Would I fight any of them?
Would you fight in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, I'd fight in Saudi Arabia.
Anyway,
on morals to one side and ethics, cash on the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shit, because the way they treat people. Yeah. No, actually, I wouldn't. No. Well, it depends.
Jen? Are you looking at one fight and out, or if it goes well, are you? Have you got like a second series?
Yeah. You've got a 3-fight deal.
Have you got a 3-fight deal?
Yeah.
But you can cut after one.
Yeah.
We're tempted now. Put your balls on the line. What are you going to do? 1 or 3?
I don't know. Let's wait and see. Let's ease in.
I think the training is the training, and it can be hard and whatever. But then it's how you find the actual fight, isn't it?
Did you see House of Rugby made it onto ITV's big World Cup documentary?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Si stuck it in the
didn't see
WhatsApp
it.
group.
Well, I only saw the little clip.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Was it just you and Si, wasn't it, on the clip?
I don't know.
That's
What
what
was
I-
it?
Probably
Si?
just Si, isn't it?
Yeah, probably Si.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like when he picks
Just
up
Si.
his
They
when he picks up our awards.
They gave the people what
Yeah.
they want.
His own.
Do you remember this podcast?
double
Do you
denim.
remember this is an award-winning podcast that none of us invited to any of the award ceremonies? Or, you know.
All right, they give the credit to the man who makes it happen, the creative genius
Yeah.
behind House of Rugby.
We'll talk
Any
about
other
England.
business?
Yeah, we'll talk about England if you want.
Mate, you're itching to get into rugby. I'm sort of.
Nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay. Well,
Any
let's
other
get
business?
into
Well, no. I mean, I thought.
it. Has anything interesting happened this week?
No, I mean, what I will say this about House of Rugby, just to be clear to the viewers and listeners. When we talked about the Saracens thing, right, the next day that the judgment came out, so all the stuff we said was hypothetical with a lot of hyperbole, and then so everyone thinks we're behind the times. Like we did something and announced. we talked about something the next day. The team announced this is filmed on a Tuesday evening, so you got to bear with us. We're not, most drama happens end of the week.
Do you know, I saw one of the Saracens boys, who'll remain nameless, at Twickenham on Saturday,
Yeah.
and everyone's got their opinions and everyone knows what's happened. I think it is really shit being a Saracens player right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
From a personal point of view, I think it's, it must be really horrendous.
But you can also imagine all those championship boys thinking,
Oh,
oh,
my
God,
God,
this is going to be horrific when that bus rolls up and the Vunipolas are unloaded, craned into the stadium.
Yes. Just Marrow getting changed into Portaloo and running out at the Mene field.
Because
in
I
Cornwall.
mean, I tell you what's really interesting, actually. We didn't cover this because this happened after our show as well, was the championship funding thing.
Do we want to go there now?
No, I don't.
We need a
want
proper.
No, we
show.
don't want to get it. But I've got there's a few championship players who have tapped me up, eager to come on and really explain what gritty rugby life is actually about.
Yeah,
And
I
kind
loved
of. I think it'd be really
I
interesting.
covered it for years for Sky.
I was speaking to Floody the other day, and he just said it's relentless. Like and he was saying what's hard, obviously, with them being at Newcastle, is they'll go up, they'll score at will in the first half, and then obviously you don't want to switch off, but you sort of, without knowing you're 30 points up, you sort of do, and you don't mean to. And he says all the teams never give up in the championship. So literally, you've sort of switched off. Then they'll score one, and then they'll score two, and then you've got to try and re-find it. He says you don't
Restart
get
the motor.
you don't get to relax. It's just constant, which is good for those teams that just keep grinding away. But then that's what they've always done. So that's how they do it. Whereas, you get 30 ahead normally, you think you're coasting.
I like the championship as well because there will be the niggly bit where the kit man will water the floor of the changing rooms, there'll be more cold showers, someone crap in an ice bath or something like that.
It was like Bath, where we used to have an ability to turn the hot water so it wouldn't go through to
Yeah.
the
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
into the. But at the
That is
start of it,
brutal.
you'd put all the hot water through the pipes. So it literally was baking.
Yeah, and be like steam coming off.
So
Yeah,
you're just
they'd
pissing
water the
with sweat.
floor, steam, sweating, then they'd crank it so you'd
Like
have
a
freezing
sauna
cold
before you
shower.
go out.
They got fined every year, bar for those changing rooms. They wouldn't do anything about it.
Really?
Every year, they're the most
16th man.
They were the most toilet change rooms in the history of the world.
Did you ever play in a team where you bugged the opposition changing room?
No, I never got involved in any of that.
No,
What did
I'm
you
not
learn?
asking you to do it. I'm wondering whether it was ever.
No, I'm a technology keener. I would have probably got involved in that. But I just don't understand what advantage you get.
They would come to Haas for advice. Or
Yeah, they would.
set it up.
hiding in a cupboard with a camera. England, Ireland. Before we get into the game itself, there's a real upskilling of players in Eddie Jones' side at the moment, making numbers irrelevant. So we had George Cruz kicking the ball out of hand. We had Tom Curry at 8, Charlie Ewell's then at 8.
Yeah.
It's a bit like reversing the
Well,
batting.
if you
order,
actually
isn't it?
look at George Ford's kicking in the game, where he did that ridiculous sideways behind Johnny
Yeah.
May kick, and then the kick after he scored, where he drilled the guy the old fella in the chest. Have you seen that video clip? Have you not seen it?
yeah, he did, yeah, he
So
did.
basically,
He
when he
apologised
scored, he
to
went
him.
to kick into the crowd, and he's absolutely dead dunked it into an old man's chest.
I love that.
Mate, I'll send
He
you
then
the
had to
clip.
apologise
It's
to him
ridiculous
on social.
But I think he went and found him after the game because I sent it to
What, in
Johnny.
A&E?
I sent it to Johnny May yesterday morning, and he was like, "No, he's seen it. He did go and find him after the game."
You know,
Let me off the tee. Yeah.
but when I saw Snoozer kick that ball, George Cruz kick that ball, I was honestly, part of me was like, he's going to have to run out this stadium and run home after the game. Because Eddie, how are you going to escape that? I mean, of all things, first few minutes.
Your mate Dozza, Legends game on Saturday, hit a low running spiral. But it literally went 15 yards straight to the fullback, bounced up straight into his hands. And he said, I just saw this low pinging spiral to the corner.
I love stuff like that. But, I don't think we'll ever see George again. But apparently, I spoke to Charlie Eels. I interviewed him after the game in the East Wing, whatever it was, with Henry Slade. Sent me 2 Kings of Chat. And Charlie Eels made his debut. I think was it under 18s debut or Bath debut at 8.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so a bit previous, and he knew he was going to put cover in there in the week, so it wasn't a complete surprise.
Did you get into Slade about his 10?
I was about to say.
I said he was. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
All it needed was a little goat to be dug.
The weird thing was because I've been on my feet quite a bit, so as I was interviewing, I was a bit tired. So I said to him about everyone wants to know about the tash, the porno tash there, and everything else. He went, "Well, in November, November's really nearly coming," and I went, "Yeah." And then I thought in the car on the way back, I was like, it's fucking February. What is he talking about? He spoiled me. He's just deflected.
Absolutely done you.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Is it just a fashion accessory, a little bit of facial furniture? Is it those ex boys, they love a little sort of take out the sides of the hair.
Yeah, because he's... Slade's such a lovely guy and what a hell of a player, but he's not known for his chat. So maybe
good-looking boy, doesn't he?
Great-looking boy, yeah. But
maybe
there are those who need it, those who don't.
Conversation starts for him.
Yeah, that's what I think potentially what it is, a deflector. Because there's a great story, but I can't talk about it on the podcast where someone essentially said, "Your mate, he's just so good-looking, but he's so boring. Can you just tell us shut up and I'll still go home with him?" I just told the story.
Was this about?
Yeah, it was about Slade. Yeah. So fair play.
Nice to
This is obviously when he was single years ago. So.
Yeah, decades ago. So we'll keep going. Jonathan Joseph on the wing. He looked quite good on the wing, actually.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, he's got good feet and he's a good ball carrier. Your question mark was going to be under the high ball, but then Ireland's kicking was really poor in terms of putting them under pressure. They got a couple right, but a lot of the time they were getting a free run at it, the England boys, and they didn't miss many. But and then the ones that they did miss were really short anyway, so it didn't really matter about giving the ball back.
Yeah, I think Eddie also said in the week that Ben Earl might be capable of playing in the backs.
Yeah,
hybrid. Were you ever offered that? Haskell,
no,
wear 13.
No, not with my skill set. But again, he's just...
Is that true?
Yeah, but he's just throwing that out.
Of course he's throwing it out.
He did it
he
with...
wanted Ben Curry at 9 as well.
Who did he do?
He said Jack Knowles going to be a 7.
Seven, didn't he?
Why is he doing that?
Because it's so much fun. Look at the reaction.
That was the thing about Sonia. He eventually said, "I just want it because it's fun."
Yeah, but it's one thing saying it, and then there is another thing having 5 second rows and 3 13s in your match.
Yeah, but you understand why. You understand why he's doing it, don't you?
No,
because he wants the best players on the field that he trusts with a pedigree that will implement his game plan.
Regardless of position.
Regardless of position.
Okay.
It's not rocket science. It's basically he's looked at it and gone, right, I could put Ollie Thorley, I could put an untested wing on the wing who is in the form of his life. But what all these fans and people don't realise is every time you go and step into the international level, it is a completely different step up with a completely different requirements, especially against an Irish team. So why not put Jonathan Joseph, who is tested at international level, on the wing, who's fast enough with good enough feet, who knows the game plan inside out, who can play.
He can defend.
Courtney Laws. Everyone's like, Courtney Laws ain't good enough at 6. Courtney Laws was our best ball carrier and an unbelievable tackler. That means you get under Laws on the field still. Means you've got Tom Curry still on the field. Means you've got Marrow, you've got Cruiser, who runs the line out seamlessly. Shot Correr, you've got a system where the ball's being delivered on a plate and everyone gets an opportunity. But everyone's like panicking. Look. Obviously there's a discussion about Elliot Daly. Where does he play? Where's his best position? And but I think for everyone else, it's about getting the best players on the field. Our coaches have done it time and time around the world. It's just because Eddie is controversial. He incites this fan, and I love it.
I think it's brilliant.
It's like, watch this. It's like pulling a pin out of a grenade, throwing it, sitting back, going, "That Muppet's going to lose his head. That Muppet's going to right to fire me." Look at all those fans. He doesn't care. So he just rolls on and they win and he carries on. Sometimes it's not going to come off because, you might need... But I think if you're going to play a certain game plan, Eddie will pick players that will win that specific game. That's what people don't realise, that he goes and says to feedback, listen, we want this player to start in this position here because we want him to focus this element, then we're going to bring you on because you're going to suit that. We don't want you in this week. So we're going to drop you to shock. It's going to shock everyone, but actually, we think these two players are better suited because we've seen a game plan that's going to destroy his opposition. But people don't realise that everyone's just very, you've got to play these people in position. You've got to have these certain people, and it's not how professional sport works.
I Ollie thought he was in the green room on the weekend, so I talked to him about it, and he was like, I was like, are you a bit annoyed about it? He goes, no, I trained really well, and everyone sort of said to me that I'd trained as well as I could to get picked, but I think he just wants experience there and people who know.
Ireland in the Six Nations under pressure isn't the game.
Yeah.
It's probably protecting him as well.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen England coaches throw players in?
He says that he's all over him as well, so he's like, he wants him to get better, and whether it be Italy or whatever.
The only shock, I think Benno was a great player and a lovely guy.
Benno?
Yeah, I thought the only disappointment I thought was I thought Lewis Lidlam played very well against Scotland and wasn't in the squad at all. So I think out of all the decisions, he was the only one I looked at and thought,
that's better.
That's a shame. And I think, I'd love to see Genge start, but what a performance from him off the bench again. Yeah. And do you know what the
first scrum, boom.
Do you know what just
Sonic boom.
But him and Cowan Dickey, the best thing about this England squad is when you draw back, take the emotion out of all selections, is a diversity of personality, diversity of players, and diversity of what they deliver.
Yep.
And he's got a real nice mix of those different kind of things. He's got some real rabid young players that he can bring on. He's got some older experienced heads. He's got some guys that have got now experienced international rugby at different positions. So when there's crisis, there's none of this, oh God, so-and-so's never played there before. All of this stuff just goes into his nice game plan. And the only thing with someone like Eddie is because the media are obviously so hungry and because fans get so uptight, is can he weather that long enough to keep the plans going and keep developing it? Because you promise you lose on the weekend, everybody loses their mind.
But the problem is, he does do things that you wouldn't expect him to do, and I wouldn't necessarily do. But at the end of the day, it's all done on results. And at the end, he has played, I think that's his 54th game in charge when we've only lost 11 games. So it's not a bad record.
No.
And 6 of those games, well, 7 of those games came back to back, didn't they?
Yeah.
So if you take that away, where he said he was overtraining them through that Six Nations before the World Cup, then, he's only...
I'd love to know the longest job duration he's had. I reckon
this is it.
Is that it? That's confirmed.
I think I saw that this is it, yeah.
Would you tie him down now? So he's got 2 years and another 18 months left. Would you say, right, finish second in the Six Nations, beat Wales, beat Italy, and let's lock in for 4?
Look, I don't know who you would get in. I think someone like Sean Edwards, not necessarily as a head coach, I don't think, but see what he's.
You're not going to get him out of France.
No, I know that. But what I meant was, when I was always thinking in my mind, you look at Baxter at Exeter and what he does, McCall at Saracens.
Yeah.
I'm trying to about English coaches or people. Who would you be able to get in that has the same pedigree, who can deliver what he's delivered?
Baxter said he doesn't want it.
And then are you overhauling? Are you going to overhaul the whole coaching staff, or are you going to leave some? Or because there are a lot of questions within that. Because then, if you overhaul, you then bring in completely new ideas, and are they going to suit the players that you've just been priming all the way along? So I'm not entirely sure what the
Borthwick into Leicester for 3.5 years. Let Eddie take it through to 2023, and then bring Borthwick back.
Yeah, I think Steve's grown into probably one of the best, most professional. I said about his stuff with the midweek in the Lions, his stuff with England, how he's developed as a coach with communicator. He's been fantastic. I just think, what's really telling with this England side is yes, every head coach has upset players along the way. Of course, because people have been selected, people have gone against things, personalities clashes. There's always collateral damage. But the most telling thing is if you ask those players, are they happy? Do you like being coached by Eddie? Do you like the setup? I think you struggle to find any one of them say no. And that's all that matters. Whereas if you'd asked me on some of I could have told you, sometimes it would have been 50-50, under different coaches.
Yeah.
I've told, no, I'm not, there's no point. It's nothing to gain by snagging people off. I'm going to say that some of the worst sporting environments I've ever been involved with have been in England as a national
Are you
team.
sad about that, looking back on your career now?
It just happened to be you fell into a bad time.
Did you have that?
Well, yeah, obviously I went from the ultimate of losing 4 games in 4 years, or whatever it was, 5 games in 4 years in my first 36, 37 caps or something. I lost 4 games, and then obviously 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, sort of 2009 sort of came. Yeah, it was the other way around, but that sort of came from the 2003 World Cup because we hadn't planned sort of beyond that. And then then injuries really started becoming prevalent in the game. We'd lose Quates all the time. We'd lose, Ugo, and we never had a consistency in people who were fit. Mudos obviously was injured a lot.
Johnny was barely there.
Yeah, Johnny was. So we didn't necessarily have the depth of the players that we do now.
But do you know the difference? A lot of these things is you've got a coach who's been there and done that.
Yep.
And has taken, won one World Cup, taken another team to a World Cup final, taken now, 2 teams to a World Cup final. But more so, it's the infrastructure around it. It's the intelligence of training. It's the personalities within that group that will help develop players' confidence. It's the attention to detail that was missing before. It's a winning environment. It's a competitive environment. It's an environment where you were selected for England, you go, I'm looking forward to going into camp, as opposed to, oh my God, what are these mad people going to make me do now? And, I'm going to be on my feet for the entirety of the day. And by the time I get into the weekend, I'm not going to be any more confident. Oh, look, they've made a motivational video that has depressed me beyond my entire life. And I still don't understand it. And half the players
Can
playing
you tell us
well.
more about that?
I mean, honest to God, some of the motivational videos you've seen, like one of them, within 30 seconds of playing it, boys were in hysterics on the floor. Joe Worsley fell off his seat. It was apoplectic. Like, just couldn't. People were streaming with tears. There was another scene where they'd taken a scene out of Goodfellas. He walks across the street and bashes that bloke's head with the pistol. They use that clip saying England versus New Zealand. And I ran out to train the team one day going, do I need to bring a shooter to the game? And they were like, shut up, Haskell, you idiot. Like, obviously, because I'm, gobby. So all that kind of stuff is gone by the wayside. And I think what you've got to understand is that running a national team is not just about the coaching. It's everything else. It's managing the club and country relationships, which
really
actually isn't very...
much, is it?
It's actually not very good. And that's the reason I think is massively. Everyone's self-interested for their own parties.
I've always said that the best coach and the worst coach that I've ever worked under are the same person.
Can you name that?
Yeah, it's, Dean Ryan.
Yeah.
Was the best.
Brilliant analyst.
Unbelievable at breaking down skills. And for 3 years where we sat at the top of the table, he was brilliant. He was just brilliant at making it simple for forwards in terms of understanding where they had to be, how they were working their chain. Like we played a defensive chain that just slid behind. He was brilliant at fixing that. And then breaking bigger skills down into really small skills and actually focusing on just the minute bits, basically the split seconds. But then, obviously, when we sat at the top of the table for like 3 years and then didn't win anything, we lost finals, lost semi-finals, we lost quarter-final in the Heineken Cup or whatever, when we were consistently playing so well. And then he felt because we hadn't won anything, he had to take demonstrative charge of it and sort of took over and not bullied, but sort of, this is my way, this is how we're going to do it. We haven't won anything, you must do it this way. And it just didn't work at all. So then it was sort of completely the opposite to what it was before, where we had someone like Ryan Lamb at 10, who needed freedom. And then suddenly you take that freedom away and try and dictate to him what he has to do. It just didn't work. But then when we were flying and sitting top of the Premiership all the time, he was brilliant at what he did.
Interesting. Quick word on Marler's new do.
Interesting.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I was in last week. I got to interview Genge and Joe Launchbury. I really enjoyed the O2 Inside Line, and I went and saw. Actually, went to Joe Marler's room with a couple of lads, but he wasn't in there. And they told me his lid had come off, but I hadn't. I was so excited to see it. But the first showing I got was on the game. It's interesting.
There's a little bit of Sexy Beast. He's obviously a bit bigger than Ben Kingsley.
No.
Hopefully we can ask him next week.
He's coming on next week?
No chance.
Can't believe I bought into that one as well.
So the Genge Marler thing is really interesting, because Marler is putting together a fantastic platform, which arguably is allowing Genge to come on and do what he's doing.
But that's why I like that.
Don't break it.
No. I thought originally, I said I'd just like to see him start because I see the energy, and I know it's frustrating because every player, doesn't matter what age group, when you say, listen, we're starters and finishers, everyone wants to start. What Eddie has to change the culture, that being involved, you're going to get game time. You're just as important. But ego.
But you can see it with that as well. That Joe, in all due respect to him, isn't someone who's going to come on and do the carries that Ellis is going to do. He's not going to
play well in the final when he came on.
Yeah, I know he can do it, but it's not where you go to. You normally go to him to grind someone down, and then you bring Ellis on. And
I mean, I think Joe's brilliant. It's great. Obviously, fortunately, it's a shame that Mako, for family reasons, wasn't able to be there. But I think Joe's brilliant. He's so important to the squad. He's so uncompromising. Even though he does a lot of stuff with a smile on the face, he's a very physical guy. And if you watch how he hits people, just denting that team and then letting someone like Ellis come on, who's just so angry, but in the best possible way. And then Cowan Dickey as well. The guy can't stop scoring.
Yeah, no.
6 tries now.
Yeah.
How many did you get for England?
5.
Right. So he's had about 20 minutes game time.
Yeah, he's done me, yeah. I saw, but he's great as well.
It won't be long till he's done me as well.
yeah.
Tell me more about Cowan Dickey. I've never really sort of read about him or interviewed him. Or...
he's a brilliant guy. Obviously, like a huge character, kind of.
He'd had a premature baby.
Yeah. It was in hospital on the weekend, but
is that
good
all right?
hands.
That's good. My daughter was very pro. My boy.
I was 5 weeks premature.
Were you?
Yeah, still £10.5 though. Legit.
5 weeks premature, and you came out £10.5.
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter was under £2.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Really
slightly different.
Yeah, I know.
But so look, he's got real like. I don't care about the language used, but he's got real man strength. I remember
proper farmer type,
proper farmer strength, but
O'Brien.
Like O'Brien, but slightly different. But when we went, this is one of my biggest regrets ever, was that we went, some of my wine works, we went whitewater rafting in Denver once, right? And what happened is obviously we're all these like 5 or 6 people in a boat, some people were down paddle boarding. And we would go down, and obviously, as we get closer to other people's boats, there was a lot of trying to boarding and everything else. So Cowan Dickey, problem is, when he got onto your life vest, you couldn't pry him off, and he would have his grip. Basically, Phil Pass, the physio legend who listens to the show, was laughing his arse off about Carl Sinclair's more heat. Right, he texted me about it. So Paskey was the fittest man in the world. He always used to wear the Alan Partridge shorts with his testes hanging out his side, and
perished in a line.
Right, really inappropriate, like a V shape with like yellow Oakleys. Used to just beat everybody on fitness, all the lads, all the players, everything. Absolute machine, like Iron Man machine. Yeah. So Paskey and Cowan Dickey have Paskey's on our boat, Cowan Dickey's come on, and he's latched onto the front of my life vest and Paskey's life vest. We are doing everything we could. We cannot get him off. You're trying to break it. You can't. His horrible little sausage fingers. Couldn't get him off. But that's not the worst thing. And basically, he pulled Paskey straight off the boat. I thought he'd killed him. I was like, he's an elderly gentleman. I was like, Dickey, drowning Paskey. But the worst of it was that we've obviously talked about the press guy,
Dave Barton,
right? So Biscuit Barton. He obviously, when people jumped him off, he lost the plot because he's not all there. He started swinging haymakers, trying to take the lads on, like Dustin, and took it real aggressive. So the boys got in behind, stuffed him off the boat. But my one big moment was I swam under, and obviously Faz as well, big Faz. He every time I go anywhere, he pops out trying to do me over. He came in trying to choke me out, but I managed to get away. But there was one boat, right, with Stuart Lancaster on it. Basically, I swam up, and Lanny was like with the team doctor, who also went a bit mad. Dave Barton and the team doctor swinging haymaker, trying to hit people with paddles. Right, lads, you're going to injure people. This is a World Cup, can't you, man? I crawled up on the side of the boat, and I had everyone stopped, and I had Lancaster, and I could have just fucked him straight into the water. It would have been the greatest moment of my career. And he turned around just as I was about to get him, and I went, sorry. And I literally, because he just turned around and went,
let me just hit this and rewind.
Yeah, he just turned around and he went, don't think about it, James. Like, sorry. Went out like back underwater, back into my boat, and all the lads were like, you're a fat and Fanny. And that was the same camp when they did the run with the army camp, and Andy Farrell went, how are you? And I went, super duper. Twice I folded, twice I could have done them both over, and I absolutely did nothing about it.
Really well for you in that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have thrown it.
They apparently on their notes they went back to Pussy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When he had time to step up.
Mate, it's so bad. I could have just jumped him straight in.
Talking of, and actually it links in with the Eddie thing, because one of the things about the ITV documentary was Owen's leadership. I watched the post-match actually because it was really spiky with Eddie off the Ireland game, and Eddie's sort of out there. And I kind of get it now why Owen just says absolutely nothing at all. And someone asked him about his dad, and I've never seen it shut down with proper Control-Alt-Delete to the question. But, I mean, because he doesn't give a lot in the media, but he is that inspiring in the team environment?
He is always somebody that, A, sets the highest standard. what I think is really nicely balanced out now is the difference between being on emotionally aggressive, on have an emotional understanding. That's something you develop, because not everybody reacts in the same way. So I've always admired Owen and Fordy, but Owen in particular, calling people out for their standards. Doesn't matter what player, how many caps, he'll pick you up on it, middle of training and everything else. And some players don't like that confrontation. But he would do that really well. He would set the higher standards himself, but he's a very clear communicator.
Who crumbles from player call-outs?
I was never a massive fan of, only because calling someone straight out, I would rather know what I did.
Side.
Or I'd just rather know what to do. Or what someone like Owen would call me out. I'd wait till the end of the session and I'd go up to him and say, listen, you said this. What do you mean? Can you show me what you mean? Can you help? And that's how I would do it.
Can we be friends?
No, we can. Can I buy you a coffee? Can I carry your bag? No, I that for me. But
understanding person.
Yeah. But I think he's got that balance now, that real nuance, and I think he's growing into a brilliant captain. I think he speaks very clearly. His passion is undeniable, and obviously people talk about his volume on the field. You only have to watch that Living with Lions with Paul O'Connell saying,
yes.
When Owen was probably about 15 or whatever it was on that tour, saying how. How dedicated, and he's the only one bossing everyone around and firing in there. So I think he's brilliant, and I love the way he has developed into that role.
Looking from a complete outsider's point of view, it looks a very unified squad at the moment. It looked very, very unified in Japan. It still looks.
Yeah, I think the
proper
squad looks unified. I still don't think they're playing particularly well. I think they got the intensity right on the weekend, but in terms of detail around what they were doing, I don't think they were.
Does it matter that they're not playing that well? I mean, if it's
no,
all about the World Cup,
doesn't. But we go through this cycle of where you say they're not playing well for a certain amount of games, you still want to see them. I thought they were very controlled on the weekend. Obviously, they dominated defensively. They were very good, sort of set piece wise. So you would say the nuts and bolts were there, but then just the little. They made quite a few line breaks, but never really finished anything off, which is what I would have liked to say. But they always looked like they were in control, and as soon as they went 14-0 up, there was no chance that
I thought I quite liked as well that what was completely missing from the France game, which I know was something they was the momentum on the carries. Standing still.
But what they didn't do in those first two. Well, you couldn't really do it in the Scotland game, but they didn't do any tips, did they? Yeah. But Stinkler was on fire with just shifting the point of attack.
Really proper.
Yeah, really when he was like sat back, and there was a few of those where they did it, which allowed them to get the momentum, and someone Courtney's footwork just to avoid. And I think that was good to see. It was just a bit gutting
because it is interesting that like you said, trying to get the performance out there. But if you watch training or sat down and watched England training unfold, all those skill development bits and pieces with each of those players are there. So, people talk about trying to there's a big difference always between translating what happens on the training field onto an international match, because you're obviously playing against completely different people, completely different. And you'll always get some of it. Sometimes you get nearly all of it, but you never get the complete package. But I think what you've seen with those players is the upskilling, like Courtney with his ball carrying and his foot, his changing. Sam Underhill carrying more now. Just those diversity and upskilling each player. I think what happened with the squad is while they're not playing the best, each player is still incrementally getting better, which I think is great.
I think it showed how important the breakdown was in terms of just getting clear ball that they could play off, because they played off such quicker ball. In terms of they did such a good blasting job of not letting anyone really. They got a couple of turns. They were just flying off their feet.
Yeah, I saw a friend of the show, Ben Ryan, was quite. Obviously he's very hot on that kind of stuff. Getting people coming in the side and doing things.
But then this is the thing: until you sort of get it in a position where people can be legally cleared out, you're just going to have it. But you don't seem to get many.
Bring back shoe pie.
No, just referee the actual breakdown well in terms of the people who are over the ball trying to steal. Then, if they're in a legal position, then the people who come to clear out have a target where they can get into a gap and actually move people away. If people kick their feet all the way back, then there's nothing you can do, and that doesn't matter which side you're on. Everyone does it. They latch on legally and then they throw their feet back, which should immediately be release the ball because you're not in a.
Well, it was a massive area of the game actually, just with those, like you said, by the clear outs. Watching all the England boys fly in watching, the Irish.
CJ
Standard, James
Ryan flew in on that, and that one that you're probably talking about near the line. But
it's funny though when you ask, because I sit next to Rory and I said, what? I've not met, I don't think I only played against James Ryan a couple of times. Never got to know him. So it's like, Rory, what's he like? Because you see him do these things, and you always want to know.
Well, he was fired up on the weekend.
Yeah, and I said, what's he like? And he said, really top man, real key, great player. I was like, fine, I love him. Go on then.
Stamp of approval.
If it's stamp of approval, then you don't mind him seeing him smoking people. If they went, he's a bit of a dick, you'd be like,
get him off.
Yellow card, sir.
Any more on Ireland? Or Stuart Hogg finally
got one down. Yeah, you seemed pretty stoked about it, didn't you? Well?
Actually, he did the week before he scored for Exeter as well.
Yeah.
Flight. Did you see that?
I did. I was at the I went to that game because Gloucester did like an old boys thing, which was great.
Oh, you did?
And he just he texted me afterwards. He said, "I just needed that." So
I was
happy about it. Yeah,
I was at a table. It's talking. There were some guys, and they were talking about some of my DJing stuff, bits and pieces. And this one guy just went at the end of it. We're talking about what do you think's going to happen next week? Selection. And this bloke went, "So Stuart Hogg." And I went, "What do you mean, mate?" He went, "Stuart Hogg, good fella." And I was like, "Yeah, what is he, world class player?" I went, "Yeah, he's unbelievable. Like he's a lovely player." He went, "Good, I'm Scottish." And I was like, "Right, so you're out your depth. You're in England Ireland game. You thought you'd ask about." He went, Finn Russell, good guy." I was like, "Mate, I'm not going through the whole team." I said, "I think he's quite happy at racing. I'm not sure he's that asked about Scotland. Whatever. Let's move on." There's always one bloke just has to get it in there just to double check that I'm not like a racist or I'm going to go, "Stuart Hogg's no good." I was like, "No, he's world class, mate. He's unbelievable."
Any chance Scotland against France?
There's always a chance at Murrayfield, isn't there? If the weather comes down. I mean, it was interesting that France game in terms of they were so desperate for a win, how they just were panicked in the last 20 minutes of the game, just kick everything away, hopefully they won't score, and it ends up causing themselves sort of more problems. I mean, they were very obviously massively dominant in that first half, but then you could see that they're that young team that just wants to get those wins and get those away wins and actually and put them down to experience who've got them. But they made it a little bit harder for themselves than they needed to. But they still got it done, and they looked so dominant in that first half.
Alain Lacoste at Murrayfield.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough place to go, Murrayfield, and it's a young French team. Scotland haven't found anywhere near their straps. I think their best game they've played probably was Ireland so far in terms of putting things together, but not getting the result. So they'll need to play a little bit better. But there's definitely
you never know.
But that's the good thing about Scotland. If they put it all together, they can play some rugby. So it could be a great game. Or if the weather plays its thing, it could be a slogfest.
Scotland boat.
There was actually someone brought up the fact that should every international stadium have a roof on there?
And
if you look at the quality of the game that the Wales-France game was, I sort of tend to agree.
I agree.
For that type of year, I don't think, obviously, I would then say if it's a fine day outside, you should leave.
The RFU will be thanking you enormously with the current piggy bank all empty. Why not, Mike? Let's build
the thing is, I think, I've said this before on the show, I think a blueprint for every stadium moving forward rugby should be the Dunedin one. Yeah. The Dunedin one with the stands, with the glass roof, which doesn't have to slide, you have to spend, because no rugby player.
But you can't have I don't think it'll work on an 80,000 seat.
No, I know. Well, no, I know. I appreciate that, but I mean, they ain't going to bolt a roof onto Twickenham anyway. But I think I 100% agree with you. I've said before, rugby should be summer sport. No player wants to play in the wet. Well, apart from those weird old school ones that love the mud and the water, and cheers, don't talk to me.
Length of the season now, it is almost a summer sport. Lions Tour will be in July and August next year.
Will it?
Yeah, little Winnebago trip.
100%. If someone will sponsor. Oh, by the way, some company sent in some snacks actually for our buffet thing today.
I had a very nice message from the Cornish Cheese Company saying that would we like some cheese?
I'd like some cheese. A cheese board.
Do you like cheese?
I love cheese. Do you like cheese? We get second series.
I've got cheese. Let's get some. Yeah, we were told not to eat on camera though. Apparently, one or two horses in studio. There's a lot of munching and chomping.
Oh, really? Me, I've got horse teeth. Sugar a carrot, and I'll be happy.
Time for some cheese. And while we do that, you are watching and listening House of Rugby on Joe together with Guinness, with me, Alex Payne, alongside the Half and the Lord. Still to come, why have France got so good so quickly? Is Ardy Surveyor off to the NRL? And we'll see if James has improved on his 2,738th position in our Guinness Point Predictor. I was slightly pissed off by that. On to liquid football this week, though. Kelly Cates was joined by the former Tottenham and Wolves midfielder Jamie O'Hara. I've got an ulcer, which makes it really hard to read. As well as a
dear.
bad
Also,
back.
bad back. What's going on?
Final.
Spinal tap. Jamie O'Hara, who has revealed how Harry Redknapp had saved his life. Have a listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I started to really struggle was, the sort of the fame kind of took over more than the football, and that become more of the focus of me, and I wasn't playing at Wolves. I was cast aside. I wasn't allowed in the dressing room. I was putting, training with the kids. So everything that I'd ever wanted to do in my life and what I loved the most, I couldn't do.
Away from you.
It got took away from me. So the only thing that was focused on me was being in OK magazine or being in the papers, and I started to look at my life and think, this isn't me. This isn't the person who I am. I'm just being someone that the press have made up. And all I wanted to do was get to just play football and get back on a football pitch. But because I couldn't, you become further and further down in your mental state. So I really struggled. And in the end, I made some terrible mistakes. I ended up getting divorced. But in the end, I moved away from everything.
So that was Jamie O'Hara. Emotional stuff
Bit
from
deep.
Jamie O'Hara. Quite deep, yes. But
I just
pride
never,
in the honesty.
But yeah, well, yeah, for sure. But I don't know whether you're the same. I'm never, when I got into sport, was I thinking where it might lead. I wasn't thinking I might be in magazines and this and that and the fame side of it. I was thinking about winning a game on the weekend, or.
But yours was less. I mean, you've had.
But I suppose our game.
red top.
Yeah, but I never wanted to be. I wanted camp.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I didn't get into rugby to earn money, but then when I became a motivation, I don't want to be famous. I said this once to Simon Shaw, and he laughed in my face. He said, Eric says, I don't want to be famous. I said, if you build a profile, it leads to financial gain. Financial gain without or fame without any substance or everything else is just pointless. As Ricky Gervais once said, you might as well go and kill a prostitute if you'd like to be famous because that you will be famous, but not in the right way.
Have you seen the Netflix thing? Don't fuck with cats.
No, is it good?
It's on my.
Oh
to
my
watch
god!
list.
Well, that guy just wanted fame. Definitely watch it.
Have you got any idea what your costume's going to be for your MMA fight yet?
No, I'm not wearing a costume.
Please.
No,
Can you wear?
But how many
can you wear
options
like a
do you
wrestling
get?
one?
You get the basic
Shorts or the leggings,
or
yeah.
the leggings.
I don't know.
Can you do like with can you do the shoulder straps? Like it's a sort of onesie.
Big Daddy.
That'd be Daddy. I want you like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No, I don't want
Oh,
to.
please walk in. Keep,
so cool.
keep the beard, shave the head, hacksaw.
There's more sponsorship space.
And when you get in the
haven't got any
middle,
sponsors
go,
at the moment.
oh!
It's a bit annoying actually. I've got no corporate sponsors, no sponsors at all.
Are you looking for them?
Yeah, I'm massively looking for sponsors.
Let's have a chat.
Apparently, the bottom of his shoes are available.
Yeah, Who
was
So I found that funny.
What was that boxer called? Julius.
Tyson had it, didn't he?
No.
Sponsored by the Sun.
Audley Harrison had it, didn't he?
I thought it was
Audley?
And Mike
Julius
Tyson
France.
had the Sun newspaper and got banged
Yeah.
out by Lennox. Look, was it? And then as he tipped
France.
forward, the Sun.
Danny Williams, Julius Francis. So you haven't got a costume yet?
No costume. There isn't going to be a costume. What's your name? James Haskell. What's your thing? Nothing.
What's your walk-on music?
I don't know. Oh no, I don't know.
Your own mix, no doubt.
Probably.
It's like self-advertising.
Yeah.
I'm available for hire.
Yeah, at the end of it.
Fury came on to Crazy. It was like genuinely quite haunting. Did you see the walk-on or not?
No.
Oh, it's
I
brilliant.
know he came on in a giant.
Crazy. And it was really like, you know, the noise. Yeah, I know. Good. That was
On a throne.
Quality content.
You've got to be quite badass to do any of that stuff. I won't be doing anything like that. I'm not badass at all.
Yeah.
I want you in a onesie. I want you in like a spandex
No.
leotard.
No,
Please.
I can't do that.
Be very funny. Does that,
What?
Car
Is that your cab? Back to the rugby. How have France got so good so quickly? How good are they? God, it's nice to have them back, isn't
Well,
it?
it's great to have them back. It's great to have that them back and physical as well. I still don't think they've hit their straps in terms of how good they're. I mean, that try that got disallowed was just a glimpse.
Unbelievable.
That would have been an unbelievable try. If I could tell, just don't know if we've run it a little bit. But I think it's pretty simple. Take away all the older players who are poisonous and just put in hard-working youngsters with a coach like Sean who demands excellence. I know he's getting a lot of plaudits, but you've obviously got to give Rafa and Fabien Galtier massive credit as well.
Johnny Beattie said the other night that Galtier is the best coach he's worked under.
Yeah,
But he said
What rock star glasses as well.
he said, and I'm not lucky. I haven't been unlucky not to work with him, but he basically said that an unbelievable coach, terrible bloke.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that, but he said that in those short periods of time during a Six Nations, during an autumn internationals, during or whatever, he will get the best out of him. If you have him consistently for a team, for a
season.
top 14 team for a season, it would unwind potentially. But then I think, but he also, Fabian Galtier loves the blitz defence, loves that aggressive physicality that fits nicely with Shaw, and like the piece of the puzzle fit quite nicely.
Yeah.
There's no point like Fabian Galtier getting being a certain coach, they're not wanting a blitz defence and getting someone like Sean in and not being able to deliver it. But it all seems like synergy. Rafa was an uncompromising, player and a brilliant bloke.
Has he had his little
lid sewn in?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Looking very concentric.
Is he?
Tidy.
But then once you've got a halfback pairing like they've got, even though they're 23 and 21 or whatever they are, I mean,
how good are they?
They are both brilliant, but Dupont is just sensational. Every time that there was a chance for Wales to get into the game, he would just close it down. Even at the base of the scrum where they were going to go one way and he's just all over it, ruined it, picked the ball up and away they go again. It's just
player of the Six Nations.
So far, you'd be hard pushed for anyone.
Ntamack's dreamy, isn't he? Dreamy,
he is, lovely, wonderful hair.
He's already like the Roger Federer. He doesn't even sweat when he's playing. No. He doesn't even look like he's stressed.
Was he like? Because I haven't seen a lot of France. Was he like in the tackle? Is he not scared?
No, he was all right.
Was he? Not in that. I didn't mean the tackle department. I meant the. I thought it was not really that into him.
Have you texted your mate?
My mate, Sean.
Yeah.
Well, so the first week I texted congratulations, and then obviously they won again. And I texted this weekend. I didn't get a reply. I got belting first time, and I went, "He's only gone and done it again. He smashed it. Congratulations." I got nothing this time. So I don't know whether he's now like settled in. He's too big time. Maybe I should send it in French.
Love it if he sent it back in French.
Yeah.
I'm
like Sean.
I've gone in Dig.
Yeah. Who's written that?
Jouet.
I'll tell you what. Oh, no. Go on. It's not for now.
Go on.
One thing we should have made. Oh, you've got it at the bottom of the thing. I've just seen it. About Sippy.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that.
We'll talk about it later.
How important is he to France? How much of it is Sean?
Well, look,
or are we just buying in because he's English? And
no, I think that there's the whole thing about Sean is everywhere he's gone, he's brought success, so it's easy to jump on. But I think you give a massive credit to this group of players, and I think if Sean had gone back in when there are older players kicking around, I do not think it would have worked. I think they would have hated his style. They wouldn't have bought into it, and then, they would have probably demanded him to be sacked, like old French players do, and they're all diplomats. So I think it's just fitted. The fit has been perfect for that team, and as you say, it has to work with the coaches. And if they're on similar mentality, then you get that result. And what he's brought is that energy and intensity to the defensive side of it as much as their attack. And I think that has been their most impressive side yet. You haven't still seen the full quality of what they can do with ball in hand.
Not a great afternoon for Wales. Just the George North thing as well, which was. Did you see? He got knocked out. Teddy Thomas.
But he didn't look too bad though. But obviously, he
was probably out and then walked off. But it's his 6th concussion. I mean, are we sort of getting to a point where it's?
Well, I don't know. Look, we're not there to judge. He has got to follow medical advice, and he's got to follow. He will go see a neurosurgeon, I would imagine, and he has to follow that advice. And then, you can only support him and hope that he's back, and hopefully, all the concussions he seems to have haven't led to a really long layoff yet. Yeah. Like we have seen with some people. So
yes.
I mean, Haskell's hoping that he's in the ring the first time he has 5. But that's about it. Right. But I mean, it was good to see him come straight back out, and he ran off the field. And so I think, but it's obviously something he's going to have to be worried about. But those of them are quite freaky, the ones with him.
Oh no!
But I think that's the way with wingers. He's running across and Fiku's looking at the ball and. He just catches his elbow, doesn't he?
Get well soon, George. What's the worst? Have you ever had a concussion? Bad concussion? You had one?
I've had one in training, but that's about it.
Did you have the one when you came back from
28 seconds?
Yes.
Ran on right.
Longer than your first fight, or
we'll see. I ran straight into Freddie Burns' hip.
That's right.
It was like that. Is talk about on professional sport, the margin between He's back, bam, standing out to.
He's out.
And he's snoring, and then every Nausey fan's sending it to me and telling me, "Mate, I bet your wife would wish you lasted that long."
Lads.
Yeah.
Get well soon, George. Wales still playing a bit. I mean, they were definitely on the back foot.
In all fairness, they played well, and what we talked about was that offloading game that we hoped that Pivot would bring, and the bit more adventure. They offloaded like demons on the weekend, and they did create some stuff. But so they actually were. It was a good performance by them, but that just first half from France was just so dominant, wasn't it? It was sort of when they were a bit, oh my god, we're going to win this game.
Yeah,
that they sort of stepped back. That Wales really got on their front foot a little bit.
My old mate from Wasp days, Will Rowland's made his debut.
He did, didn't he?
Row, fantastic.
Good on him. We'll talk about England Wales next week. Actually, we're going to Wales. We're going next week.
Next week, live show. 1,200 people.
No more tickets, unfortunately.
Days. Next Tuesday.
I'm going to need security. You're going to need security.
That's why I'm being nice to them. They played really well.
They've done so well.
And there's a great video of, so I love Dan Biggett. So when he gets exasperated because he's always like bollocking the other lads. And
what was he doing at the end?
I didn't see. Well, I saw the bit where he flaps his arms, and someone's done a video of him flapping, and he takes off out the stadium, and then it's on YouTube. You check it out. And he flaps. He takes off.
He was getting angry at everything.
Yeah.
Always thinking the ball should have. It was like a football game. It's our throw in all the time, and it wasn't.
He's such a lovely bloke off the pitch.
No, but that was very interesting. He was another one on the line, so that I thought, I'm just never going to get on with him. We got like a house on fire. We've stayed mates since, but no, it's just great because the video he flies out the stadium and then. They've spliced it where he went up for a high ball and fell over, and he comes back down and falls on the floor. It's like perfectly timed. And he saw it in the WhatsApp group. He was like, shit. I love it because they did the whole thing with the Macarena when he did that in the World Cup. He's been a bit of a victim for that kind of stuff.
Wizards at work. Coronavirus. Is this right side? The Women's Six Nations games between Italy and Scotland have been cancelled due to coronavirus. Is that true? Scotland having a shocker. They've had 2 games. Postponed and now one cancelled. Any thoughts on coronavirus? You had the foot and mouth. Was that one?
You've had foot and mouth.
That
explains a lot.
Yes.
2001 we had it got delayed till October, didn't it?
That's right.
And it was a Grand Slam game and we lost. Yeah, I didn't play. I had a broken hand.
I mean, it's a bit weird this coronavirus situation because you read about there was a lull in the week where we all thought it had gone away. And it's come back, and now they're putting in 80 million people could potentially die if it reaches pandemic levels. But the World Health Organization don't use the word don't use the word pandemic anymore. They've changed the language around it. Italy's fallen apart. Like, I'm pretty sure. I can't work out who's dying. Is it old people dying? Am I going to die? Should we go to stadiums?
I think it basically is like flu, and then if you're quite healthy and fit, it's not really.
Not sure,
issue, but I'm not
sure.
to
us for guidance.
No, but I'm more questions. I'm more interested.
Come to us for guidance on what coronavirus is.
But I mean, they obviously postponed the Hong Kong Sevens.
Yeah,
I was supposed to go and work out there.
Postpone the Olympics.
Well, I mean,
you let a little cash money trip to HK.
I did, yeah. That was going to be great. I was working with HSBC.
It's been great for me because I can actually do the week that it's now.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like my birthday.
Nice. Reece Webb to Bath, Liam Williams to the Scarlets, both effective immediately.
Oh, really?
Good.
I didn't think about the Liam Williams thing was immediate. I saw Reece Webb today.
Yeah.
But we always thought that Liam Williams would be.
It was going to be next season, and now it's there. Yes,
but we always thought it'd be an easy. It's an easy fix, isn't it, for both?
Interesting to watch that. Obviously, Webb going back to Wales next season as well. Ardy Surveyor says he's 100% going to change codes and play in the NRL.
Fair play to him.
It'd suit him.
Yeah.
Mad ball carrier. Yeah, mad ball carrier.
Did you have a beer with him post Lions?
No.
He's quite into social.
No, it'd be a shame because I love watching him.
Yeah,
so it'll be a miss for all rugby fans. But
he's someone that I've talked a lot about because I really admire what he's done.
Yeah.
In a country where it's obviously created unbelievable players. For me, as an outside observer, it has a bit of a tall poppy syndrome that you all need to be use All Blacks first. Don't put your head above the parapet. I've always said, what do all these world-class All Blacks do when they finish? Because there's only so many jobs in there. You know, Justin Marshall's got the Sky job sewn up. Murray Mexted had it for years. All these kind of guys had it. What do you do? And I love the fact off his own bat, he's set up a podcast which is actually interviewing other players really in depth. I think he's very creative on social media. I think he's brilliant. And I think he for me is how other Kiwi players should go, because we're all seeing the fact that, you know, any injury can happen at any time. What do you do? What do you do? You know, yes, you're part of the greatest team in the world, but there's a conveyor belt of people, and you're only in that shirt for 5 minutes before you're gone. Yeah. There's only so many jobs and, you know, coaching roles that I think it's really, really impressive what he does.
Good on him. Good luck in the NRL. Best All Black fellas?
Who are the best lads?
Yeah. Ali Williams.
Ali Williams is
Nono.
Good lad.
Yes, you love Mars.
He's a good Mars, great boy.
We had a good dinner
the best side of to be honest.
Oh God, who might?
Andrew Horey.
Andrew Hoare, yes, absolute hero.
He's an absolute legend.
Fodsey.
Proper farm.
Ben Franks, top boy.
Are you in business with him?
Yeah. I've got a CBD oil company called Impact CBD. If you're interested, post recovery training.
Is that going to help my back?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, and it'll help you sleep better as well.
I could do it. Well, sleep. I can't.
You get it available.
There's a different show there as well. I want to do a show on concussion at some point.
What, you want me to knock you out and see how it feels?
Sorry, why? What? Well, after your fight, we can compare notes, can't we?
We will.
Danny Sips.
Yeah. Incredible.
Jesus, what bravery that was. 18 minutes of quite tough viewing, that, but fair play to him.
I think really brave. I think really important. I think that I knew a lot about that stuff. Some people did, some people didn't. Obviously, it was never my story to tell or me to bring up with him. But I think it gives a lot of context to him as a person. I think it was very interesting about what he said about his dad and a father figure, not having a strong father figure. Working with guys like Sean Edwards, like Kevin Liddler, the physio, who's basically saved my career any number of times, is kind of a bit of a stepfather figure for me as well. All these kind of guys that he's gravitated towards who have really helped him. I thought it's very brave because what he said about Caroline and essentially people's shame and concern about things and ultimately the fear of what people are going to think and obviously the fact that people volunteer opinions, which makes it seem like all reality. Because what people forget is when we do this show, for example, you get criticised. If you read in all these comments, it becomes your reality. We've turned over 10 million viewers and listeners. There's still 7 billion people who haven't heard of us who don't care, or whatever it is.
I'm not sure many of the 10 million do either.
No. But the point is that it becomes your reality, and I think Sip sharing that will have undoubtedly saved some lives. Will undoubtedly show people that it's fine to talk, it's fine to own up, that we can be nicer to each other. I thought it was incredible. I think ultimately I think he was very nervous. I didn't speak to him too long before he put it out there, so I knew it was coming, and I think he did it so well. And I just think it's inspiring, and I'm glad that what was really interesting at one of the moving parts is that he obviously addressed it with his Gloucester teammates, and he'd been blown away by the outpouring of kind of love from teammates he thought even weren't his mates. And I think it's just nice when people actually, when you expose yourself, however scary that is, and you actually bare your soul, you'll find that people have a better understanding and can comprehend where you're coming from, and I think that's really important.
Everybody loves a comeback as well, regardless of however it manifests itself, and I hope that this is sort of a swinging point for him.
I hope so, because I think it does give context to certain things and make people understand, and to own up and say, listen, actually, I tried to fill the void of not having a father, fill my void of depression with minor sex, alcohol, prescription drugs, whatever it was. That's hard because people from the outside judge and throw stones but don't comprehend what's actually going on behind closed doors. And when someone's struggling to that extent, you're going to buy a gun and shoot yourself. That's not messing around. That's not just I'm thinking about doing it, but I haven't done it, or I've had a few dark thoughts. We all have bad days, but that's pretty extensive. So I think if he saved some lives and been as honest and born his sort of bared his soul like that, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and hopefully more people, because I think there needs to be more stories like that. Because I remember saying about even under this video about social media, people go, well, listen, if you're in the public eye, if you're in, you've adopted that lifestyle, it's made you successful, it's made you wealthy, so you have to put up with it. No, that is a complete misnomer. You don't have to. You should. It doesn't matter whether you're in the public eye or not in the public eye, whether you court media or not court media. Nobody deserves to be hounded. Nobody deserves the rough with the smooth. People in the street don't have it.
You're fine to give an opinion, but there's no reason for it to be absolute just abuse and hate. What's the point in that? You can say, look, I don't agree with you, which loads of people do, and you don't mind having that. It's when people just call you, swear at you for no reason and say you're a dickhead. It doesn't really help anything. How does that help?
No.
Well done, Danny.
Yes.
Very brave. And, good luck. Onwards and upwards. Guinness Pint Predictor. It's a very simple game. You predict the winner and the margin of the Guinness Six Nations games every week. If you're within 3, you win a free pint of Guinness. If you're within 7, you get a Guinness to gift. You had a good week.
It almost was an amazing week.
Download the free Match Pint app, set your scores, win pints, prizes, and take us on in our House of Rugby League using the code HOR. You can still get involved in the final 2 rounds. No games to predict this week, but let's have a look at the table. Ed Ralph is our overall leader with 156 points, including 3 games in which he's predicted the margin of victory exactly. Well,
not great with the ladies, but great with Match Pint Predictor. Excellent.
It's a big swing if you get it right, because you get 30 points, don't you?
Shit! I've not seen this. I've gone from 126th to 322nd. I got done by that last bloody try. So I went England by 17, which no one else was brave enough to do. And then that last try did me. Mike, you've gone from 989 to 363. Si is 886th. From 1,294th and Hoff.
I didn't play
Hoff
1
is
week.
rocketing up the table.
I didn't play
You've
1
gone
week.
from but it's irrelevant. You've gone from 2,738. You are really on the climb. You're now 2,504.
But I went up 234 places, didn't I?
It beat you by 15 points this week.
So
it's all right. I declared.
If we take away the fact that you actually are into sport and you're an oars, you've got nothing left. Your identity's completely. You're just a tit with patches on a jumper.
I actually got sent a new jumper this week.
With bad back.
Yeah, you've got a bad spine. You're a weed at school. If we take away the knowledge, you've got nothing.
Still ahead of you in House of Rugby. And I got so much abuse last week for my holes in my jumpers, which I thought was shabby chic, that I've had a very nice new jumper from Eden Park with elbow patches.
Lovely.
Is that nice?
Yeah, for all the beavering away and preparing you're going to have to do to beat me next week.
Do you want to bet?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, go on then. What?
Eyebrows?
No, not doing that.
Put eyebrows on next week's result.
Eyebrows would be really bad for you, though.
Really bad.
Really bad.
You look like,
If we go back to that,
I'm quite like one
if we
of
go
the
back to that, you are.
That is exactly.
They move independently as well.
Gordon Tracy.
Oh.
Is that right? Is that right? One of the
Gordon
Tracy? Yeah.
Penelope.
Tracy?
Something or other.
Penelope Parker.
Penelope Parker. Good. So get involved in House of Rugby Match Pint. It's lots of fun for all the family and plenty of abuse. You sit there going, be nice to each other. And I go, oh, you're not doing very well in House of Rugby. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to fucking knock you out and shave your old balls, eyebrows.
Yeah, but I'm saying, shave your balls. I never said anything about shaving your balls.
Again.
Not into that. No, let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. I'm addressing you face to face, in person, mugging you off. No, I'm not hiding behind the thing, shouting, going, look at your eyebrows, you little virgin. I'm not doing that, am I? I'm saying it's your face. I'm not shaving your balls. I'm not into that. Again.
That's what you said in Japan.
No, that's what you do at public school, isn't it? Shaving all the lads.
It's not the day in the onsen in Japan.
Any other business? Anything exciting this week?
Oh, but by the way, so my wife obviously listens to this podcast.
My wife, she's very nice.
My wife, she's very nice. Obviously, some of the the little jokes, the little asides bit when you go about like the onsen, I get in and then I get cornered on like a Thursday afternoon. So, what was Tin saying about this thing? And what did she mean about the onsen? I was like, babe, I didn't go. He's made it up. We're all having underhand comments.
He did go. He did go, Chloe.
They won't let me in with tattoos. I didn't go. An onsen's just a bath, but it's a spa, babe. It's nothing shady. Like, you've got to stop doing me with these little underhand comments because I'm getting questions.
You've got to be honest with Chloe.
I am honest with her.
Stop hiding these things.
I'm honest. No, you're terrible people.
We've got Jonathan Davis squared next week. Jiffy.
We'll be talking a lot of England Wales next week, won't we? Live event.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. If you're coming along, we're very much looking forward to seeing you there. Next week, we're going to be live at the Depot in Cardiff in front of 1,200 people.
What are we going to talk about? Because there's no rugby.
I don't know, really.
I've run out of stories, so basically I'm not getting a Series 3.
Yeah, one or two actually have started coming around on the loop.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. I need talk back where someone goes, shh, you said that.
You said that.
I don't get that.
Get me off. Get me off.
If you're not coming next week, you'll be able to download and watch in all the usual places, podcast, YouTube, other bits and your bobs. That is it for this week. Thank you, fellas.
Need a wee.
Okay, well, on that bombshell, let's pull a cord.
On that bladder bombshell.
Pull a cord. Well done. See you soon. Have a good week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Love and hugs. Goodbye.
You've been watching the House of Rugby on Joe. Together with Guinness. Drink responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk for the facts.